So welcome and good morning. This is a very sudden surprise for me also, conducting this live show. But I thought it is ethically right if I'm doing this for my students. When I say my students, all who are watching this is my student. Those who are watching this video will be my students only. It's not that, who did internship with us. So I just got the news yesterday evening from one of my student, Jyoti, then that, they are having VIVA. So I thought, anyway, we discuss many things in the internship during the 2 months of internship later also, but just refreshing few concepts before the, VIVA OC will definitely help some students who will be watching today. I miss the students who are already into VIVA today, 10 o'clock, but I don't know, for tomorrow, all the best. But today also, if the students are getting this video, immediately they can watch it from the center also. So again, welcome. Just to introduce myself, I'm Dr. Geetha Challa. I'm a counseling psychologist, and I work along with my team of counselors at Sudisha Counseling Center and the NGO which we are working with, or we are from Manojagriti. So welcome again for this small interactive session on how to prepare for the VIVA. Basically, it's not about, the different universities, but we are targeting the IGNOU because IGNOU is having a formal system of VIVA. Some other universities may not have it. So basically, to begin with, let me tell you, there are two ways of VIVA. Generally, during COVID and after COVID also, for a few years, it was online VIVA. But now this year, I came to know it is offline. Offline meaning you are going and sitting with them and, trying to talk to the authorities there. So just to tell you, online VIVA is little different from offline. See, online mein kya hota hai? See, you are looking at me like this. So it's like, you could see me from here and I can have a notebook in front of me. I can have notes in front of me. I can use my desktop to, look into the details, and someone is asked for a question. I can actually get prepared immediately because it's like group and people coming out. So online was little easy according to me, but offline, you don't have that, leverage of preparing in the spot or getting info from your friends. So little tougher than online. That's what I just wanted to tell you before I start. Okay. So maybe before I actually start speaking, can I have one or two of you in one sentences or two sentences? Can you tell me what is that you are looking for in today's session? What do you want me to tell you? I know what I'm telling, but just to listen from you, tell your name and then tell me what is it you're looking for.
Ma'am, I'm Swatina Balchandran, and tomorrow for the VIVA, I want to know how confidently I can attend it. Means whatever questions come to me, I should be prepared and I should be confident delivering it. So what are the tips that I can have?
Right. So you want to understand the confidence, how to be more confident tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. Means what all areas should I be thorough in so that I am confident for the VIVA?
Right. Okay. Okay. I'm making a note of it. Okay. Anything else from anybody? Any expectations?
Yes, ma'am. Myself, Jyoti Rajan. I just want to understand as to, which areas should we prepare more, nicely. I mean, from what areas will the questions be asked?
Okay. Okay. You want to understand the questions.
Yeah, basically, is it in general, will they be asking about psychology in general, or will they be only asking about the internship that we have done regarding the cases that we have done? Will it be confined to that, or will it be about psychology in general is what I wanted to understand and know.
Oh, okay. Good. We'll definitely do that. Anybody else? One more person? Madhurima? So you're not attending the VIVA, I know, but what is that you are looking for in this session? Quickly.
I just wanted to know the pattern, what is happening in the VIVA. And if a case study is given or role play is given, how to deal with it.
Right. Okay. So let's start. So for all the students who are watching this video, I would like to tell you from the, not from the content perspective, I'll go to that. But before that, as a person, how you should present yourself in a VIVA in general. So, there is one technique we generally give for the self-esteem, low self-esteem clients. We tell them that wear invisible crown. Kanabadani oka kiritan petkomani cheptamu. So that invisible crown you should wear so that you feel very confident. You feel as if you know everything. So king and queens, they feel as if they even if they don't have knowledge also, king and queen present themselves very confidently. I want you people to wear that invisible crown on your head and just, present yourself as if you are very confident. This is the first and foremost important thing, because the impression of the, person who is taking VOCE will be established within not even before 5 minutes, it's before 2 minutes itself. Oka 2 నిమిషాల లోపలనే that person will get an understanding of you. So to give that confidence to the person who is the professor who is taking the VIVA, you should show that confidence in your body language, in your face, smile on the face, open posture, and also the way you are holding. See, don't go, inside that VIVA room with, big bag, pen here, water bottle here. So it's like little clumsy, no? So don't carry, all those stuff when you're entering it. Maybe you can have a very small notepad like this and just simple pen, and leave everything to your friends outside or someone who came with you. Okay. So that is very important, because that makes you a little clumsy when you have too many things to hold. Number one. And also that is one thing. And the other one is your dressing also makes sense according to me. So wear a dress. It is not to impress upon someone, no, but it should be like very professional in nature. So let the dress be very professional. Okay. So the look and everything, don't wear like too much of jewelry and everything, or that loose hair coming onto your face. Wo sab nahi. Just be little professional when you are going for the VIVA. So this is all about your physical appearance. And the second one is, when I look at it, mental is like emotional preparation. So I know that when you are attending something like this, everybody, including me, if you call me for the VIVA now, I will be nervous. That professor himself will be nervous actually inside. So nervousness is normal. So having nervousness doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything for you. It's a normal emotion. You should acknowledge that emotion first. Tell yourself, see yourself as a different person from the nervousness, and tell yourself that, yes, I am nervous. I am feeling nervous. I am not nervous. I am feeling nervous, and it's okay to be nervous. That's it. Don't try to hide your emotion. Don't try to resist that emotion. It is very normal and very, it's okay. It's okay to be nervous. Not the emotional thing I'm telling. But there is a line for it. Being nervous is different. Being anxious is different. So don't be anxious. You can be nervous. So anxiety is like too much of, response to the situation, and you feel that, heartbeat, palpitation, blah, 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 blah. So don't get into that mode, but just be a nervous person. That's fine. So I'll tell you one example. See, you have that butterflies, flying in the stomach sensation. Butterflies will be flying when you enter this room or something like that. So butterflies is common again. But you should channelize that butterflies to fly in a same direction. Don't allow those butterflies to fly as if they want, but channelize the butterflies to fly in a same direction so that will give you energy. Nervousness converted into confidence. Very simple logic. Very simple logic. And you can hold some, object which gives you a lot of confidence. It can be anything. It can be a pen. It can be a book. It can be anything of your choice. Object that is called support gadget. So please hold some support gadget which can be helpful. So this is all about emotions, and whatever be the situation, don't leave this smile on the face in the, entering and exit. Have that smile on the face. Even if you're wrong, it's okay. Having a little smile, subtle smile on the face is fine. Okay. So smile on the face, accepting the nervousness, and trying to channelize your nervousness into confidence. These are all very, very, very important. And just having being conscious about your breath also will help you during that situation. Someone is going inside and she came with a very long face, and suddenly your disturbance happens. You're very confident, but suddenly you see someone, you disturb. So just become conscious about your breathing and be mindful about something. And you can sip water or something. And one more beautiful or interesting thing for you: have a small chocolate candy in your hand and just put it in your mouth. That candy will help you to be normal and be mindful in the situation. Okay. I know that the Sneha internship students know how to eat the chocolate with 5 senses, not with 1 sense. Eat the chocolate with 5 senses so that you will be very cool. So this is about emotional, and also mental. Mental is like nothing but emotional only, but having that confidence, having that patience, because sometimes what happens is the professor may ask questions which are irrelevant, which are completely away from your preparation. Ho sakta hai kabhi kabhi. So don't get irritated. Have that patience, because it is like, that ability to tolerate something happens. Everything goes well. I wish all the best, but still if they ask something which is completely away from your preparation, be honest. Be honest. Tell that, sir, I think I don't know this part of the answer. So kindly ask another question. Be open, be honest. It's okay. We are not superwoman, superman to answer every question asked by them. That's okay if you don't know, but be honest. Don't try to make it up. Cooking karna hi karna udhar baith ke. They are very intellectuals than you people. So this is all about your, general preparations. But now coming to the content part. The first thing is, please try to go to the website of IGNOU and try to read the names of the people, officers. Already I think some of you prepared. Kuch padhe kya, Swati, na? Nahi padhe abhi?
No, ma'am. I'll do it today.
Please do it. And also once you are done, please send me so that I can, help other people also. So please see that.
Officers means, can you give me like
regional center in charge, academic coordinator, your supervisor, those people who is the highest authority of IGNOU, and a regional center ka kon hai, who is the professors who is working there, something like that. Very important positions, not small things. Okay. So that is very important, because you should know about IGNOU when you are going for, see, any interview you go, the hosting organization ke baare mein thoda padh ke jate na. So here also you read about IGNOU and go little bit. Okay. Basically names. This is very important input. Most of them miss out and they say, so Balemantarappudu, then they may answer, you don't even know the director's name. You don't even know the academic in charge name. You don't even know the regional center in charge name. So thoda acha nahi lagta. So prepare well. That is first and foremost important thing I thought of telling you. Knowing about IGNOU, keeping the names in the mind. Second thing, very important probability of asking question is about your cases. They are asking, many times they ask about your cases only. So I know that you have done 10 cases. So some cases maybe you shadowed with, someone, or some cases you have done personally. So whatever be the case, either it is a shadowing case, either it is a personal case, just get prepared. Preparation is very important about your own cases, because I know that you didn't complete this, maybe last 15 days. You have done it 4 months back, 6 months back also. And you're writing. So you may not remember the details of the cases also sometimes. So take out some time and open your internship report and start understanding each case. If you ask me, I suggest you can have, this sort of small cards or small piece of paper, 10 wala, or make 10 parts in the white paper and write about each case. Each case. Case means what? You write about the issue. What is it all about? Then little details about the age of the client, gender of the client, and, trigger or precipitating factors, or, any other comorbidity. What's up? Small details you can have, so that you're very confident to tell. So sometimes the question can be, what are the different issues you dealt in your 10 cases? That can be one question. So you should have the list of issues. Second type of question can be, can you tell me about one case in detail? It can be either way. So just be prepared about everything. 10 cases ka list and gist of it, but one case, be thorough. One of your choice cases ko pakad ke, I want you to be prepared well, which is your favorite case. And favorite case means the client is not your favorite person, but the intervention should be your favorite. The therapist should be your favorite, because whichever case you are presenting, the clients will, the professor will ask the questions about that case only. That was, heard from the previous students. So I want you to read about the issue, precipitating factors, then other issues which are associated, then how many sessions you took, and which therapy you used. We'll discuss about therapies a little later. Which therapy you used. Then what are the interventions which are very effective in the process? Did you give the home activity to the client? Was the rapport built, and how the rapport was built? How the session was concluded? So did you give the relapse prevention to him? Or did you make any toolkit? So, or did you educate the client about the counseling process? Did you give the psychoeducation about the issue? Yes, sab aapko bolna padega. That's how, you should present your case. Okay. And very, very, to make it more interesting, you can have few interventions in your mind. Have some interventions in your mind which are like tidbits, which are universal in nature. For example, any case, let it be a depression, let it be low self-esteem, low motivation, fear of future, fear of exam anxiety, adjustment problem. See, in all these things, common intervention can be thought restructuring. Very common intervention can be thought restructuring. So have this in mind. Thought log preparation, CBT was used. You can say CBT was used, thought log was prepared. So then cognitive distortions were identified. Then what is the distortion? We will just discuss about it little later. But then what are the, how you gave the restructuring process? How did you educate the client? And you can actually mention also, ma'am, sir, actually the client had this thought, I will not be able to pass in my exam, was the, thought which was bothering him. So I will fail in exam. So I could give this, thought restructuring. See, have everything ready, like noodles. Just don't be very general. Don't be very general. I'll tell you this funnel technique. You know the funnel, right? Funnel will be like very, wide, and then it comes very narrow. Please don't be a upper part of the funnel. No, don't say that I gave intervention, I gave psychoeducation, I gave this, that. वो funnel का upper part होता है. But if you want to really impress, really want to show your actual original, student, intellectual student, show the inner part of the other part of it, where you will specifically say, sir, CBT mein I use thought record sheet. CBT, I use emotional awareness worksheet. I think all the students of Sneha know this terminology, what I'm talking. Hai na? So please use this terminology and say that, sir, actually I identified the distortion of should statement in my client. And I tried using the story to neutralize the distortion. I use the didactic method to help him. Or I use analogy for my client when she was feeling very low confident. I gave the analogy of be a coconut, not a balloon. See, it's that much specific I want. And one more very important thing is, please try to mention about the outcome of the session also. What happened? That you write in the soap notes, right? Soap notes slow. You write the second part, progress note. Progress note, initially you talk about MSc entry behavior. MSc is what? Mental status examination. You talk about it. Then you also talk about the exit behavior. How was the client when she was entering the session? How was the client when she was exiting from your session? This is all about MSc. So we'll go into details of it. But before I get into the concepts, so this is how you need to present your case. I think it is little clear. So now coming to questions away from your cases. Sometimes the professor may ask you question about the organization where you have done your internship also. So he may ask, how is your experience in internship? That is a general question. See, but don't try to say it was good, it was nice. Again, don't be general. Be specific, sir. It was a offline internship. I went for these many hours, and the center is located in Kondapur. And our director, or our course director, or what do you call me, supervisor, agency supervisor is Dr. Geetha, and the other supervisor was Priya, or Jayashri, whoever it is. Mention the very specific, give the very specific details. And I prepared coping card set of 30. And also we were given study material, that is preparation of skills and stages, nice reading material we prepared. Then we also understood or learned interventions for different issues. We were taught about 30 general mental health issues and 25 severe mental health issues. So be specific. They need not ask a question. You just tell whatever you want to tell. So when you have this structure in mind, you will be able to answer before the question comes. In the sense, thoda question pucha, to aapne answer bada de diya. So he will not ask next question. I think everything is there. So he may not ask the next question. Okay. But in this process, don't be overconfident. Don't be overconfident. Don't think that I know everything. So don't underestimate the person who is sitting in front of you. They are very knowledgeable. They are very, experienced people. So one basic thing I want you to have here is respect to the person who is sitting in front of you. Respect him because he is sitting there with a lot of experience, expertise. That's why he became a professor, taking the VIVA. We are budding people. We are all budding people. Hai na? So have that, that humble, respecting, that attitude inside. So that you are very, the way you think, the way you speak, the way you act. So everything will align. So having this humble attitude is very important. Okay. Now coming to the conceptual questions. What are the different concepts generally they ask. So I'm just trying to, use some of my, information which I kept ready for you people, but you may not see them. If required, I'll show you the slides. So therapies ke baare mein, see, the questions may be about therapies and famous psychologists, both therapies and famous people behind the therapies. So the first and foremost question generally asked is about psychoanalysis. They ask many, but psychoanalysis is asked in general. Okay. So who is the person behind psychoanalysis? Who is the founder? Who is the founder? He is Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud. Very good. So Sigmund Freud is there behind psychoanalysis. And what is that we generally do in psychoanalysis? We try to understand the repressed emotions or the emotions which are there from the childhood. So they are there in the unconscious mind. So using different techniques, we get those, emotions which are there deep inside into conscious place, so that the client will understand that this is the root cause for my problem, and then try to help himself, herself. So the one more important question they may ask is about id, ego, superego. Id, ego, superego. I think you know these things. Id is a demanding child. Ego is executive, and superego is a, a guru or spiritual guru or judge. So these are different states of mind where from the client operates. So you can introduce this. And sometimes the question is about defense mechanisms. Not sometimes, most of the time questions come from defense mechanisms. So they may ask you a question about what is defense mechanism? What is defense mechanisms? Defense mechanism is a strategy that is used unconsciously to protect a person from unacceptable feelings. So few examples of defense mechanisms can be denial. Denial is you don't accept that you have something. You don't accept the problem. Repression is, trying to suppression and repression. Then you have projection. Projection is your emotion is shown on others. You feel something, but you project the same thing in your partner. Then you have displacement. You have anger on someone, you show it on others. That is displacement. Then regression is going back to the other stage of life. You are an adult, but you cry like a child when problem comes, just to protect yourself. Then you have one more thing is sublimation. Sublimation is you have a behavior which is unacceptable by the society. So you change that unacceptable behavior into acceptable behavior. And then you do it. It's okay to do. It's okay. So that is like, making unacceptable behavior into acceptable behavior. Just, transition. It's not, it becomes, but they do it. That is called sublimation. Then rationalization is you do something and you give a reason for it. And you say that it's okay to do. So that is rationalization. And reaction formation is, trying to act out, trying to show off. There are so many other things. I'm not getting into the, lot of details, but these are some. And you can also talk about compensation. Compensation is if you have a problem in one area, you strengthen the other area of your personality. If someone is having, hearing issues, not able to listen or hear, they will be good in something else, play. They will become a cricketer. They will become something athletic. So compensation is this. Okay. So yeah, there are so many. Please read the defense mechanisms and, prepare well for your questions. Then comes the one more concept I don't want to miss out is transference and counter-transference. Transference is a situation where the client will see someone in the relate to someone in the therapist. This is called transference. Counter transference is the client, the counselor will see or relate someone who he knows in the client. This is called counter transference. So please read about these things, and please read something about dream analysis. I'm not going to give details because time is not sufficient. So dream analysis is generally asked. Then free association technique is also asked generally. What is next? Yeah. So now comes, one more thing is psychodynamic therapy. That also generally, asked by the professor. Psychoanalysis, psychodynamic therapy. Then we will go to very important thing I'm taking you. Give me some time. So they may ask a question about where this psychoanalysis is helpful. Where is this, psychoanalysis is generally used. So you can mention that when there is a history, there is a trauma, there is a abuse, there is a significant event in the life which is actually impacting you in the present situation. It can be a person with depression having rumination. So then psychoanalysis, going back and getting the background information will be useful. Okay, sometimes in eating disorders also we use social anxiety also. Social anxiety also, there is a probability where they have the very negative or bad experience which is actually impacting the present behavior. So these just information is very important for you people. So now come to the client-centered therapy. Who is the person behind client-centered therapy? Any answers? Any answer? Client-centered therapy, person-centered therapy, Rogerian therapy. It is Carl Rogers. Carl Rogers, person-centered therapy or client-centered therapy. So you please have these concepts in mind so that you are answering well in the exam, your VIVA. So after that, so in client-centered therapy, have these 3 words in mind. They may ask you about empathy. Many a times empathy is asked. What is empathy? What is, empathy is putting yourself in other shoes. Then you have congruence. They may ask question about congruence. Congruence is the genuineness. Then they may ask about unconditional positive regard. So please remember empathy, unconditional positive regard, understanding, genuine understanding of the client and the problem. So this is about, basics about client-centered therapy, Rogerian therapy or person-centered therapy. So then we have CBT. Generally questions are asked about the CBT. So who is the person you get in mind when we talk about CBT? Can anybody answer? CBT? Yes, Swati? No? CBT? Aaron Beck. Aaron Beck. Okay.
Beck.
Yes, Beck. So remember this. Beck is a founder of CBT. CBT, actually there was a, VIVA where they asked about the, abbreviation of CBT also. So CBT is cognitive behavior therapy. Very simple. Cognitive behavior therapy, Aaron Beck. Please have this name in mind. So what is cognitive behavior therapy? Just one sentence. Cognitive behavior therapy is a form of talking therapy where the principle behind it is the way you think affects the way you feel and the way you behave. So there is an interconnection between thinking, emotions and behavior. So Basically, cognitive behavior therapy is all about thinking process, how you think. So here they may ask one question about automatic negative thoughts. They may ask question about core beliefs. They may ask question about intermediate belief system. So these three are very important in cognitive behavior therapy by Aaron Beck. So in CBT, very, very important, one more concept they may ask is thought reframing, thought restructuring, cognitive restructuring. So thought reframing or cognitive restructuring is identifying the automatic negative thoughts, finding the core beliefs behind it, and understanding the distortion, and then neutralizing the distortion or giving an alternative thought for the thought. So we have distortions, cognitive distortion. This is generally asked. Most of the VIVA, they ask these questions about cognitive distortions. So what are the cognitive distortions? So generally there are few distortions which are asked. Can you see my screen? If yes, can you show me the thumbs up? If one of you, you can see my screen, right? Good. So here we have cognitive distortions like all or none thinking, or black and white thinking. So this is very important. You can give an example. If I pass my exam, I'm a very good student. If I get less marks, I'm a very bad student. So this is polarized thinking or black and white thinking. So many times questions are asked. Then overgeneralization. So you take one thing and you generalize to everybody. So you see one woman who is sensitive and you generalize and say all women are sensitive. So then we have mental filter. Mental filter is you have you filter everything good about a person, but you filter only negative thing about the person. Okay. Then discounting the positives. See, I'm very good in everything, but I'm not able to write. Handwriting is little bad. So what generally I say is, no. This is not about me. See, if I'm successful also, I cannot see my positives. I only see the negative part of me and I discount the positives in me. Generally, people with low confidence do this. Then jumping into conclusion is, I know that my husband will not listen to me. I know that my friend doesn't listen to me. I know that people are going to ditch me. So jumping into conclusion. And there is one more behind this is mind reading. Mind reading is, my friend is thinking like this. You read the minds of others. And fortune telling. Fortune telling is you say something which is going to happen. I know that tomorrow, my professor is not coming. How do you know? No, I know. So it's like, fortune telling. Then we have magnification, looking at a smaller thing, taking a small thing, but showing it as a very big thing. Then emotional reasoning, you know something, and because you want to prove it is right, you get 100 things and attach and say that this is right. Emotional reasoning to something which you believe. Then we have should statements. People with anger will have these should statements. Should and must statements, anger, and those who are dominant people will have. Labeling is generally happens in depression because you see yourself as helpless, hopeless, worthless candidate. So that is what is labeling. Labeling can be yourself, labeling can be others. It's called global labeling. Then personalization is generally again asked. Personalization is you take things into heart. You find whatever happened in the world, you think that I am the responsible person for it. I am the person who is responsible. So this is personalization is nothing but blaming yourself for any problem in the world. So Madhurima, did you raise your hand for something?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to understand cognitive distortions and defense mechanisms are similar or they're different?
No, they are entirely different.
Okay.
Entirely different. Cognitive distortions come in CBT. Defense mechanisms come in psychoanalysis and psychodynamic therapy. Okay, they are entirely different. They are not same. So these are like very most common distortions which we understand. So please read and be ready for the for the VIVA. Then we'll go to the REBT. So REBT is, who is the person behind REBT again? Whom do you see when I say REBT? REBT is, the person behind REBT is whom? Albert Ellis. Albert Ellis, REBT. Please remember these two names. Albert Ellis, REBT. So REBT is all about, irrational beliefs. REBT is all about irrational beliefs. So we have irrational beliefs, many irrational beliefs. So intolerance, again, awfulization, then shoulds and must. So there are many irrational beliefs. So these irrational beliefs, we find out, we identify, and then we give the rational beliefs to the person or client. So Albert Ellis is the founder behind this, and the famous model of REBT is ABC model. Just have this one sentence in mind, ABC model. A is activating event, B is the belief system, C is the consequence. Consequence is two ways, emotional consequence, behavioral consequence. So this is enough for REBT. Please have these 3-4 things in mind. REBT, Albert Ellis, irrational beliefs, rational beliefs. Then you have ABC model, activating event, belief system, or beliefs, rational or irrational. Then you come to the consequences. Consequences are two ways, emotional consequence, behavioral consequence. These are called irrational beliefs. So you can talk about irrational beliefs in your cases if you find out. Okay. Then we have one more therapy. Maybe they may ask about is ACT therapy. ACT is nothing but acceptance and commitment therapy. So there are two parts in acceptance and commitment. One is acceptance, and then second one is having the commitment to work towards the goal. So just have this understanding, accepting your reactions, accepting the present situation, accepting your own self, having a lot of self-awareness, having insight into the problem. Okay, that is all about acceptance. Commitment is going towards the right direction, taking an action which can help you. See, if you have a problem, you are just sitting there doesn't help. So accept that problem is there and go to the solution side. That is called acceptance and commitment therapy. Just have this in mind, two concepts, that's enough. So who is the founder of ACT therapy? Stephen Hayes. STEVENCHAYES. Stephen Hayes. Okay. So maybe the pronunciation is different, but yeah, you can read and understand and have it in mind. This is all about ACT therapy. Acceptance and commitment therapy generally used for chronic pains, anxiety disorders, depression, PTSD, okay, all the substance abuse, or someone with personality problems. We generally give this ACT therapy. There are many techniques. So we are not going with the techniques here, but you can talk about those things. So here you can also talk about expressive art therapies. So there are many expressive art therapies. Expressive art therapies may you have movement therapy, art therapy, play therapy, creative writing therapy, music therapy, aromatherapy. So all these things comes into expressive arts therapies. Okay. So then we have BT, behavior therapy. So behavior therapy is generally it is based on two things. Behavior therapy is based on two principles. One is classical conditioning developed by Pavlov. I repeat, behavior therapy is based on principles of classical conditioning by Pavlov and operant conditioning developed by Skinner. Please have this clarity. Sit and read. Sit and read before you go there, because generally, this question comes about behavior therapy. So there are different techniques which are used in this behavior therapy. So the few techniques can be shaping, positive reinforcement, then token economy. So there are many techniques, but I want you to read and understand these few concepts in the therapy: acquisition, extinction. Then they may ask about some of the I'll give you the techniques also. Please have this in mind: shaping technique, rewarding technique, token economy. Then they may ask you about rewarding. Rewarding is, stopping rewarding is used for extinction of behavior. Okay, this, please, have this small thing in mind. Then you also have negative reinforcement, positive reinforcement. Both are very important here. So please have these two words in mind: classical conditioning, operant conditioning, Pavlov and Skinner, and have these techniques in mind so that you are little, confident. It needs a lot of reading, but still you can have this in mind. Now, next therapy last time asked was dialectic behavior therapy, which is called DBT. DBT is dialectical behavior therapy. So what is, who developed this? Marsha Lenha. So the spelling is MARSHALINEHAN. So generally DBT ka nahi puchte. Generally they ask about Sigmund Freud, Rogerian, Carl Rogers, Albert Ellis, Sigmund Aaron Beck. These people are generally asked, but we never know. Please remember this also. So dialectical behavior therapy. So what happens here is, so there are two things which seems contradictory, but both are same, both are true. So I'll tell you, there are two things which are part of DBT, two therapies which are there inside DBT: relaxation and mindfulness plus CBT. Relaxation, mindfulness plus CBT together, the DBT is done. So to understand more about DBT, maybe they ask one question is, I'll tell you, which sort of issues, for which sort of issues DBT is used. So generally abuse cases, trauma cases, PTSD cases, for that we use DBT. What happens is, in DBT, the person with emotional sensitivity, the person with, the problem, emotional sensitivity, develop a pattern of emotional dysregulation. So in this process, we address the emotional irregulation first. By using relaxation, mindfulness techniques, we help the client to stabilize first. Then we give the CBT-based techniques for the person. So which helps in the behavior change and also emotional regulation. Both are important. So DBT, as I told you, DBT is very useful for overwhelming emotions, impulsive behavior, self-injury or suicidal thoughts, substance abuse, sexual abuse, trauma, all these things. Very, what you should say, very conflicting relationships. Okay, those, for them we use the DBT. Now, as I told you, relaxation therapy is also very important. Relaxation therapy, generally we have breathing techniques in relaxation therapy. There are two ways of relaxation: mind and body. So relaxation therapy, the founder of relaxation therapy is Jacobson, Dr. Edmund Jacobson. So there was a question in one VIVA, what is JPMR? What is JPMR was a question. So JPMR is Jacobson's progressive muscle relaxation. So relaxation therapy was founded by Dr. Edmund Jacobson. So he developed the technique called JPMR, Jacobson's progressive muscle relaxation. So what happens here is more of a breath is connected with the muscle contraction and relaxation. So head to toe, all the muscle groups are given the tension, and then relaxation is given. So please remember this: head to toe relaxation, breathing techniques, Jacobson's progressive muscle relaxation. You can also talk about guided imagery. All these things comes into relaxation techniques. Okay, so that name itself is very important. So don't forget the name of that person, Jacobson, JPMR. Okay, so yeah, these are enough for this. And then we have we also have mindfulness. Generally, questions nowadays is they are asking about mindfulness therapy. Okay, so for mindfulness therapy, please remember, very important thing is mindfulness is about being in the present, focusing all your senses in one place, non-judgmentally. So this is what is mindfulness. So there are many techniques of mindfulness. There is one thing which comes into generally they may ask the abbreviation of this, MBCT. They ask MBCT. What is MBCT? Mindfulness based cognitive therapy. Mindfulness based cognitive therapy. So just sometimes they were asking, so just have this in mind. We have many techniques: mindful eating, window watching, mindful walking, so mindful collage making. So we do a lot of techniques, mindful self-observation. Okay, so many things comes in this. So we are done. CDT is also sometimes asked, not very all the time. CDT is what? CDT, cognitive drill therapy. So cognitive drill therapy is also asked sometimes, not regularly, but just have this. CDT is cognitive drill therapy. Okay. So about therapies, I think we have done a lot. So let me go to the. So please remember the art therapy, play therapy, aromatherapy, music therapy, all those things, also creative writing therapy. So just have some concept of all these things before you go. Okay. So now this is a basic information about what is what they may ask about the psychologists and the therapists. Okay. So now coming to the stages and skills. So most of the time, they may ask about the case, but just be ready with your some basic information about skills and stages. So I may not give you the entire information in this given time, but let me give you the outline so that you have some basic information about your skills and stages. Okay, right. So generally they may ask about the skills used in counseling. They may just ask the random question: what are the skills used in counseling? That is one question they ask. So for that, I have a list for you. Give me 1 second, I'll show you. Yeah. So this is the entire list. The entire list which they may ask is this. Okay. So I think you can see my screen. The skills used in counseling, they may ask about any skill here. Okay. I'm giving you the list, but they may ask about anything. So they may generally ask a question about Schobler. What is Schobler? What is Schobler is a general question they ask. Schobler is sitting square, head nods, open posture, verbal following, listening, eye contact, being relaxed. This is attending and listening skill. Then you have questioning skill. Questioning, you have two types of questions: open-ended questions, closed-ended questions. probing questions. So get some info before you go there. Have some examples of, all these things. In Sneha, we provide, information about each skill, and we make our students to prepare the cards for each one of the skills. So then paraphrasing is rephrasing or restating the information given by the client again. So this is called paraphrasing. Just remember parroting. Just give me 1 second. I'm running out of my battery. Thank you so much for, okay. So now we have paraphrasing, then reflection of feelings. Reflection of feelings is, taking or understanding the feeling of the person, emotion of the client, and, telling from your end. I see you emotional. I can see a lot of disturbance. I see you frustrated. These are reflection of feelings. Then we have empathy. I already discussed empathy is putting yourself in others' place and trying to be, trying to understand the emotions from others' perspective, not from your perspective. Then being non-judgmental. When the client is telling that I have done a mistake, I yesterday went with some guy, there is something happened, but don't judge the person immediately. She's a bad girl. So non-judgmental comes into person-centered therapy. Empathy, non-judgmental, these comes into Rogerian therapy. Then immediacy. Last year this is asked. Immediacy is within the session, when the session is going on, you will find a behavior of a client and tell them, it can be negative or positive, but tell them how that behavior is helping the counseling process, or it is counterproductive. Both the ways you can tell. So, okay, immediacy. Say someone is not, not looking at you or not making the eye contact. You can say, Ramu, you are not making eye contact. You are always looking outside the window. I think this is not going to help us. So this is immediacy. Then self-disclosure. Self-disclosure skill is you tell something important, experience, important part of your life to the client, so that the client will relate to his problem. Or sometimes your self-disclosure will be helpful for the client. So that is asked, and approval and reassurance is generally asked. Approval and reassurance is giving some assurances to the client that yes, you have done right thing. It's okay to do something. Then challenging skill, when the client is confused, you say that, the client is having dual mind. That time you use the skill, challenging skill, or confrontation. Okay. So you say that, one side you're telling you want to go abroad, one side you are telling that you want to stay in India. Which one is possible? This is called, challenging skill. Interpretation comes in psychoanalysis. Please have these connections. Psychoanalysis that comes from their interpretation skill is you find the background information of the client and present behavior and present personality, and try to connect the dots and show the client that your past experience, your past, whatever happened, that is actually making you to behave in such a way. So this is called interpretation, right? Then silence. Focusing is helping the client to see herself, or helping the client to understand their own behavior. Or that is called introspection within the client. Focusing is not you are focusing, helping the client to focus on self. That is called focusing. Okay. Then we already discussed unconditional positive regard. This is a skill. Summarizing is a skill. Then guidance and information is also skill. So if you use this guidance and information where you have a case which you referred to a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, or a special educator, or a psychiatrist, then you say that guidance and information skill was used, sir. So I'll give you one technique. All the students who are listening to this, please have the list of these, skills, and try to remember few skills. And whenever the professor is asking about the case, you mention 5 or 6 out of them. Very basic. Questioning is generally you do, paraphrasing you do, reflection of feelings you do. So there are few things which you do by default. So try to have this in mind so that you are more confident in the VIVA. Okay, these are skills generally they ask. And stages. So stages are according to IGNOU book, it is little different, but overall the stages you can talk about attending and listening is the first stage. Then there comes the rapport building also. After that, you explore the issue. Then you do the mental status examination, MSc. Then you do the history taking. After that, you set the goals for the session, and you also introduce mental health checklist. And then you give the interventions, and then you do the follow-up or ending the session. And then you do the follow-up. So these are stages, but there are different ways of counseling. There is one more important thing which you may be asked is interventions. So I'll just touch upon that and then we'll close. So interventions is very important thing which they are asking about. So I'll show you my, I have a model which I use for the, some of the students. So let me show that. Yeah. So interventions, what is intervention? They may ask a question, what are interventions? Where from the interventions will come? Okay. What is the difference between therapy and counseling? They may ask the definition of counseling. They may ask characteristics of a counselor. All these general information they may ask. So just have some basic info about it. Or so now coming to the interventions part. So I'm just taking you to the one of the PPT which we use. Isko chhod do, please. So interventions are techniques which you explain to the client, techniques which you give to the client to make him feel better. So for example, stress. If the client is having stress, we use the technique called put the glass down. So just to give you, understanding, I'm using this. You can also have this in mind to make a note of it. So put the glass down is a technique which we use for the stress management. Then clients with a lot of overthinking, worry, disturbance, for them, we use the technique of worry box. Then for the clients who is having the fear, we can, mention this intervention, beliefs are not facts. We use a technique. Then this is one coping card, which we, coping card, I told you coping card is a method of intervention. So you can use the coping cards. So for a client who come with tension, you can say what worst can happen. When the client is having tension, you can give this coping card and say what worst can happen. So you can all mention all these things. So for the children who come with behavior problems, we use the technique called black dot on white space. So then this is one more technique we use. These are all, techniques what we use. Okay. So break the tunnel vision. For depression, we use this technique called break the tunnel vision technique. Okay. And for people who are depressed and who are low mood, for them, we use the mindfulness technique called pat your 5 senses or 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. Okay. So then we also use, for the people who come with low self-esteem, we give this analogy of pen, pencil, sketch pen, and then we try to, explain them how everything is unique. Then we also give, for the people who are very sensitive, we give the, analogy of be a coconut, not a balloon. That is really interesting. Then for people who think that they are worthless, there is no value for me, we use this, story technique. We use this technique as therapeutic story technique. So you can use a story as a technique and help the client. So see, when you are in the VIVA process also, please mention all these things. So you can tell something about story, something about coping card, something about analogy. So, or skills used. Okay. So for anger, we use the throw the fireball technique. So many, these are, breathing techniques, which are useful for anger management. frustration, stress management, anxiety. For all of them, we use the breathing techniques. We have power breathing, concept in our Sudisha. So we give 6 stages of counseling to our students who come to us. Okay, so then, so let me go to the important, if I can give, for the client who come with the problem of time management, we give the technique of to-do list. Then we also give them technique of 4D principle, okay, and Big Rock theory, prioritizing. So this is how you are going to talk about interventions. So I'm just stopping here so that, let's not get into the details of it. Okay. So there are many interventions. So to give you little more understanding, you can mention story. You can tell the professor that I used a story for my client, therapeutic story. You can tell that you used a worksheet, analogy, didactic method. Didactic is like where you just, try to tell something about it. And psychoeducation is also very interesting nowadays. So you can mention that psychoeducation word. Psychoeducation is you try to educate the client about the issue. That is called psychoeducation. Okay. So then questions can be, Socratic questioning can be a best way of counseling. So you can use this. And sometimes they ask the question of Socratic question. What is Socratic questioning? Okay. So apart from this, sometimes I just, let me see this. Just give me 1 second. I already posted it in the group, but still I'll try to tell you the list and then we'll try to summarize and take questions from you if required. Okay. So they may ask about the hosting organization where you have done the session internship. So then they may ask question about 10 cases which you have done. Then 1 session in detail they may ask. Then the question is about mental health issues. You have, please have the list of general mental health issues and severe mental health issues. Then you can also talk of the questions will be about therapies we already discussed and techniques from each therapy they may ask. Then definition of counseling, then defense mechanisms, cognitive distortions, counseling skills, counseling stages, right? And they may ask question, what is anxiety, what is depression, those things. Then sometimes they're asking what is aversion therapy, what is family counseling, what is geriatric counseling. These questions are also asked. Okay. Then exposure therapy, generally, most frequently asked exposure therapy. Exposure therapy is used for, phobias and, OCD. Then systematic desensitization. This is also generally they ask systematic desensitization is used for, working with fears and phobias. Then questions about classical conditioning, operant conditioning is most frequently asked. Then one time it was asked, what is flooding technique? Flooding technique is used for the clients with OCD. They used to, but nowadays flooding is not used. It should be done very in a proper way. So flooding is also a question used in this. And MSc ke baare mein there are many questions about mental status examination. I will try to post in the group what is mental status examination. So where you see the eye contact, body posture, walking style, voice, everything. Okay. So MSc, please, Buttify. It is very important. Generally they ask. Then abbreviations, they are asking many a time. They are asking about what is DBT, what is CBT, what is CDT. So there's MBCT, EMDR. EMDR is what? EMDR is eye movement desensitization therapy. Okay. And they may ask question about umbrella of expressive therapies. What all comes into expressive therapies? So you can mention all about. Then most commonly asked questions are about stress. They ask what is stress, what is work-life balance, what are different types of stress, eustress and distress. So what are the stressors? So stress ke baare mein there are so many questions used many times. So please have this in your mind. Then one question was about catharsis. Catharsis is like when the client is, expressing the emotions continuously, talking about the issue, but you are empathetically listening, and, after, a certain period of time, the client will become little light. So that is where catharsis is lightening, the heaviness of the client goes down and down. So, and one more question is about eclectic therapy. What is eclectic therapy? Eclectic therapy is combination of all the therapies, techniques from each therapy you take and make it as your own therapy. That is called eclectic approach. So this was asked. Immediacy was asked, one time, and cognitive distortion they are asking almost every time. Okay. So then again, they may ask, what is SAD? What is SAD? SAD can be separation anxiety disorder. SAD can be social anxiety disorder. Okay. And they may ask GAD. What is GAD? General anxiety disorder. What is PTSD? Post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay. Please go to DSM-5. All of you, please go to DSM-5, take the list and, read again and again. So then, maybe you'll have it in mind. Okay. So then one time they were asked, like at Sudisha, when we do Sneha internship, we give self-transformation worksheets. So from that, SWOT was asked. SWOT, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So SWOT was, generally asked many times. Okay. And some questions about IGNOU. Okay. So this is all about the VIVA. Again, I repeat, please, have faith in yourself, faith in your organization where you have done your internship. I know that you will rock it, all of you. And there is nothing beyond this they will ask. So just brush up yourself and go confidently so that you do it. And please send a message if you are done. Okay. Tomorrow, congratulations. All the best for all of you. And if you still have any questions, you can message me personally. I am Dr. Geetha Challa. My number 9866016812. Okay. So thank you so much. Namaskar. Bye.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your guidance.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the class. Thank you so much, ma'am.